Hello guys, in this video I will talk about my memories in Lviv. I was in this city 4 years ago. It was like summer break of my university and I organized a solo trip for myself. It was a backpack type of trip. I also was like a part of the community Couchsurfing. I hosted some travelers in my hometown and then some other fellow travelers hosted me in this city, Lviv. Um, and back in those times, I used to do DSLR photography in a amateur manner. And in this video, I will go through those photos I captured uh, when I was in that city and I'm gonna talk about their stories, maybe some backgrounds, and if other topics comes up naturally, I will elaborate them too. The video will be a digital memory for myself, and for you guys viewing the video, it could be a different perspective to the city from my point of view. So without further ado, let's continue with the first photo. Okay, this photo was captured from the city center. As you can see, it is the iconic Lviv, view with those Austria-Hungary type of European buildings. By the way, this city used to be a part of that Austria-Hungary Empire, and it's a quite different. It has a quite different culture and old town architecture compared to, let's say, Kiev. This is one side that you can see from this photo, and the other side is the fact that I already arrived to the city center by the time I took this photo. And I want to talk about the arrival process a little because it was a quite interesting experience. So I landed to the country at the airport, and they took us all to interrogation room. I learned that when it's the first time getting into the country, they do it to for everyone. If it's the first time for you, although it was like a visa-free country, it was quite a challenge to pass through the interrogation room. There were like 50-ish people. We were in the line. They were taking all of us one by one. Each interrogation like took like 10ish minutes. So like imagine this. We spent a huge amount of time at that line. Maybe the numbers exaggerated the numbers, like 50 times 10. It's like too much. But what I'm trying to say is it was a challenging experience. So, and the interesting thing is, there were many Turkish people in that line because, Ukraine was a kind of closer. It's a close country in terms of distance to Turkey. It's a visa-free country, so there were many, like Turkish people, or let's say people from Turkey, because there were much different people too. There were some immigrants, I could say, having a Turkish passport I saw there. So, when the interrogation officers realized that I was able to speak both in English and Turkish, they just took me with them and they wanted me to be a translator between the Turkish people and them. So I spent a good amount of time there, being a translator, helping both the officers from Ukraine and to Turkish people actually, I had to tell a couple of visitors that their arrival were rejected by the officers and they will be sent to where they came from with the first plane that will depart from the country. And it was a very difficult thing to say them in Turkish to their face, bro. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was kind of challenging. But to be honest, some of those people were just trying to be a kind of illegal immigrants in EU, I could say, because interesting fact is that Lviv is the kind of the border district between Europe and Ukraine, and there were many people from many different countries trying to pass to the European side. So the interrogation room was actually there probably because of this. So there were a couple of people I had to translate the rejection decision of the officers to those people. So it was a kind of interesting. Never mind. After a couple hours, I mean, come on. I told them that, bro, I need to do things. I need to do my own job, and I humorously told them if they are gonna pay me for translation job, and yeah, it was not a bad environment. They were friendly people, at least towards me, let's say, and overall too. They were trying to do their best to maintain the order, but they were also good people. We didn't have any problems, especially when it comes to myself. I already helped them, so they were quite helpful for me. I told them that I would stay in the country for 3 months, so they were kind of shocked. They asked for paid bills of the hotels that I plan to stay in, but I told them, come on, like it's 3 months. I didn't pay. I will pay and stuff. So it was a kind of what if scenario, but I helped them and they helped me back. But in the end, you see, it was challenging. Anyways, they told me that okay, you can go on. You seem like a cool guy, so we believe in you. And I also showed them like my going back plane ticket, and as I said, like, and I also showed them some bank claims that I have enough money to sustain myself for 3 months in the country. So it was okay. They just let me go. And by the way, they also asked every one of people there, especially when they are Turkish people, they asked which part of Turkey did they come from. If you came from the western part of Turkey, their attitude was much more, calm and accepting. But if you are from the eastern part of Turkey, they were a little more harsh about, restrictions, rules, and overall acceptance. And to be honest, they also rejected one person. Like the person he was from the western part. All his documents were quite okay. There was nothing wrong with this guy, and somehow they just reject him. I mean, imagine, shitty situation, isn't it? So I was a kind of happy to be accepted in the country. I mean, funny, isn't it? You expect it to be a visa-free, easy country to get in, but somehow you end up in an interrogation room. Yeah. Okay, never mind. That was the challenging path I had to take to get in the country 4 years ago. Yeah, memories. Okay, let's continue. And again, this is a city center. It had a very beautiful, cute city center. Beautiful establishments, businesses, bars, and all these stuff. And this is also a photo from a city center. There's not a special thing with the photo. It's just an aesthetic photo. Let's continue. Again, you can see some European style architecture from buildings to statues because of the history of the city. And also, like from my Ukrainian friends I had when I was in Italy in the project, I learned that like the western part of Ukraine is a kind of real Ukraine where they speak a little more different language that they name Ukrainian, while the eastern part is a little more like Russian influenced. That's what Ukrainian friends told me like 4 years ago. And I saw it when I was there, by the way. I was also in Kiev after Lviv, so let's continue. Another city center photo that you can see. I mean, it was very beautiful. I was really impressed by the beauty of the city, Lviv. The city center was very clean and beautiful. There was little to none problematic thing I saw in that city. I didn't see any crimes. I mean, when it was midnight at the city, I came up with some dangerous things, to be honest. So it was at the midnight. There were a couple of Turkish people I met there. I mean, let's be honest, like, not all Turkish people were there for only touristic purposes, let's say. Some of them there even because they were trying to escape from the police in Turkey. You know, there were such people too. I don't know how they end up with getting into the city, but there were people like this. So some local people were quite prejudiced towards foreign people, especially Turkish people. Yeah, what can I say? And I came up with a group of people in the city center when it was at the middle of night, like it was like 1 a.m. or something. We were just hanging out with some people, drinking alcohol, talking to each other. And we came up with those that group. They were a kind of racist people in front of a kind of racist bar. The bar itself was quite racist, by the way. They had like racist symbols inside of the bar, and the group was a kind of punk motorcycle-ish people. So after they learned that I was from Turkey, and we were, I don't know how exactly things happened there. I don't exactly remember, but somehow the topic came to them not liking foreign people there. And as I said, for some of understandable reasons, they were triggered. So there was another person next to me. He was from the eastern part of Turkey, and he was there to escape from the police. I mean, imagine the fucking scenario. And the guy was a kind of a stupid person. he was trying to, the guy from the east was trying to convince the racist people that they were brothers. I mean, and the guy was touching the racist guys. I mean, it was a fucking stupid moment in my life. One of the stupidest moments that I find myself into, you know. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Those people threatens you with killing, you know, and you're touching them and try to convince them that you are brothers. I mean, imagine how stupid I was, and even talking to those people. And after a point, I realized what a stupid thing I'm into, and I just left all of them there and just continued my life. I was not a friend of any of those people, by the way. It was like at the middle of night. It was quite touristic area. Everyone was drinking, talking to each other. I was, by the way, with those people I met in the plane. They were quite decent Turkish people, came there for projects or travels. Some of them was teachers in Turkey. They were amazing people, by the way. Let me also mention those beautiful people that I met there who were Turkish. They were like Turkish teachers who were, traveling in Ukraine, and it was a kind of regular thing for them. They came to this country. They came on regular basis. They had a kind of social life in this country. And you know what? One of them married a Ukrainian woman. Later on, I saw on Instagram. He was a very good man, by the way. So, like, those people are there too. But on the other hand, some weirdos are also there. So that was the thing I experienced. And also, one of those racist people also looked at me, and they made a sign implying that they wanna cut my throat, bro. I mean, imagine what I saw there. So thanks God I left everything and every one of them there, and I was able to leave the spot peacefully without any escalation. And that was the most racist thing I have ever experienced, probably in a foreign country. And I include Germany and Amsterdam in this conversation. Like in Amsterdam and Germany, I experienced some verbal and cultural prejudice, and even I could name racism. But in Ukraine, it was like a death threat from like a group of racists, bro. It was amazing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I hope those weirdo criminal Turkish people were not murdered at the spot. What can I say? It's Ukraine. Yeah, what can I say? Again, another thing, Ukraine was at that time too not like amazingly a safe place. The police thing was not strong, and in Kiev too, one of my friends experienced a kind of robbery, and police was so what, dude? We can't do anything. So the country was also like this in terms of order and security. But nevertheless, I can say that Lviv and Ukraine was a beautiful country at the time I visited it. Although I experienced such things back in those times, I remember especially Lviv, the city of Lviv, in a with very beautiful memories, and not only architecturally, city-wise, but also people were very beautiful. I mean, of course, I also met with some shitty people too. That's another aspect. But, I don't want to talk bad on a country. Even like a country, imagine they are in a fucking war right now. I'm very sorry for this. I hope the city and the country will be better as soon as possible, and they can live a beautiful life as soon as possible. Yeah, but anyways, this is my experience that I had 4 years ago. Let's continue. Yeah, let's talk a little more like beautiful things, a little more. You can see this was a thematic bar in Ukraine, city center. I mean, the Lviv city center was quite famous with characteristic bars and thematic bars. It is such a characteristic thing that I haven't seen in any other city before. Like this specific bar was themed in medieval times. You see this medieval nun or whatever he is. Maybe he is a villager. So you could see some Black Death themed bars, or another bar. It was called Masochist bar, where you basically hit each other with the customers. You hit each other for fantasy purposes. Yeah, I mean, there were such weird bars too, but it was nice overall. It was respectful, and it was safe, let's say, as far as I saw and I experienced. Let's continue. Another photo from the city center. You can see the beautiful architecture and overall nice design of the city. And this photo was captured again from the city center, and here you can see a kind of second-hand bazaar. They were selling like books or some relics from Soviet times. I really saw that kind of second-hand bazaars in both Lviv and Kiev, and they were quite famous. And there were many objects from Soviet times, not only like relics, but also coins, some different materials, even home devices, I can say. It was interesting. It was nice to go around those type of second-hand bazaars. Yeah, let's continue with another photo, and again you can see the city center, the architecture. It was beautiful. But I mean, I should say the old town, the city center, was such beautiful place with beautiful architecture and clean streets. But the more you go outside of the city, the more you will see the Soviet structures. And those people called those buildings like gray boxes. They hated it. They didn't like to live in those boxes. They called the Soviet buildings. They were more like preferring some better buildings, European style buildings. I don't know. I personally like the aura of those Soviet buildings, but they mostly told me that, okay, you may like it when you look outside, but they told me that I should believe that it is not an enjoyable experience to live in those Soviet type of buildings and in a Soviet lifestyle. Of course, this is dependable. I mean, it depends on the perspective you look at. at least they provided, you know, a place to live in for majority of people, and try to avoid the homelessness. Never mind. Let's continue. You will see those type of buildings that I'm talking about in the next photos. Now let's continue with the other photo. This photo was also captured near the city center. You can again see the central structures here. And I mean, look at this green. I think this photo is a very nice evidence that this country, nature is very rich and beautiful in terms of nature. And you also might know Ukraine is historically also a very agriculturally productive country because of its lands and its earth. And I mean, I still remember when I landed the country, Lviv, the city, and get off from plane, and then after the interrogation room, and I finally stepped on the city's earth. And after the gates opened and closed, like the gates of the airport, I breathed, and I remember the beautiful smell and weather of the city. I still remember it. It was like I smell flowers, very warm and beautiful weather was there. It was also a summertime, so the country and its nature was amazing. From its weather to the smell of it was amazing. That's what I can say. And I still remember the moment I breathed the city after the airport. It was an amazing experience. Another photo capturing the structures in the city center. I mean, Ukraine was Orthodox Christian, right? Slavic, those Slavic countries. I don't actually remember that much church experience I had in this country. Yeah, I remember one memory right now. I just remembered it right now. It was a very big church, and it was full of people. I mean, in Turkey or any other like Western European country, I don't remember such a crowd in a religious structure. But in Ukraine, that church was full of people, and I was surprised with the fact that people are still into the religious practice at that time. Let's continue. Okay, this is a photo from a supermarket. Maybe you know this type of packaging, but it was something new to me, and I was really surprised to see something like this. Compared to this regular form, this form allows you to get every part of every piece of the chocolate thanks to the shape of the packaging. And it was a brilliant idea, and I really liked and captured the photo of it. And I also would like to talk about the grocery shopping experience in eastern part of Europe. I include this. I mean, I experienced this thing in Ukraine only, but as far as I know, it is also a thing for Russia. I mean, when you get out of Europe, or even I include Turkey too, and go to a little more like Slavic countries like Ukraine, Belarus, or Russia, They have a very different experience when it comes to grocery. I saw a milk package in Ukraine, and it was amazing that the package itself was nothing but plastic baggage. Like, it was not hard. You and if you drop it somehow, it's gonna just blow out. It was something like this. So they put the milk inside of a plastic package. And that was very interesting to see. And such things were quite common in Ukrainian grocery stores. So the Slavic way of having a grocery experience was like going to an alternative universe and doing groceries in another planet. It was something like this. I can also include the experience of buying a water. I mean, in Ukraine, there are not free fountains where you can go and drink some free water, but there are machines. You pay the money to the machine, and the machine gives you water. But how? It just leaks the water, and the machine expects you to put your water bag to it so that it's gonna fill your water bag with water. That was a very different and interesting experience I saw in Ukraine. So water fountains basically work with money, not free. That was a thing in Lviv. I didn't see it in Kiev though. So let's continue. Okay, this photo, I captured it from when I was in the house of my friends, like the Couchsurfer friends. As I mentioned in the beginning, the first 2 weeks of my travel in Ukraine, I was hosted by a Couchsurfer group. They were a kind of hippie people, to be honest. I really enjoyed their company. They were 5 young people. All were friends and also travelers. They have been to Turkey, Europe before. It was after COVID times. So the borders were newly opened, kind of, let's say. They just accepted me as a guest in their house. And that was their place. As a gesture of gratitude, I was doing some shoppings for the house so that we could prepare some food together. And that photo was captured just after I come back from the grocery shop. They didn't ask me to buy anything, by the way. I was just trying to be nice to them because they were very nice people and very, what can I say? How can I say? What was the word? Hospitality. Yeah, their hospitality was quite high. Let's say. I really enjoyed their company. We were going around. They showed me the city. We had come together. I mean, not like we didn't stay at the forest, but we just grabbed some food, drinks, and went to the hills of the city, cooked some stuff. It was a very priceless experience. I mentioned this thing in my previous video too. When I was in Italy, I was in a volunteering project and I was hosted by a local people. It was a priceless experience. And in this city, I was hosted by, local travelers. Just for fun, just for sake of humanity, it's such a beautiful thing. And as I said, it is priceless. You cannot buy things like this it's not genuine if you buy it. But in this way, it is genuine if you are volunteer or do it for fun and blah blah. Yeah, let's continue. Now, this photo was captured near to the city center. You can see the rainy weather. I really liked the aesthetic of that city. And I specifically love this photo because how sky is reflected from the ground, and the texture of this ground is such a beautiful thing. I love these type of textures and structures, this groundwork. I love it. It just gives the authenticity vibes and his historical. It just vibes like a historical place near to Old Town anyways. So this is again from the similar times in the same day. This is a very interesting photo actually. Ukraine was not a rich country. Its people were not in prosperity, unfortunately, and I saw it from many examples, and this is one of those examples. The tramways were so old that I understand that it gets broken regularly, so they had a system to move it with a vehicle, a state vehicle, I guess. That's another perspective to it. So the electricity went down or something else for tramway, and public transportation is done by with the support of another vehicle, state vehicle. I think this is a very interesting photo. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine something like this. I haven't seen anything like this before. But again, I saw a lot of negative sides of poverty. And I'm gonna show you guys in the Kiev part of this series. In Lviv, it was still a quite cute and beautiful town-ish city. So poverty was not that much emphasized. But when you go to the city, Kiev, it was in a different level. Again, I try to avoid to talk bad about a country which is in a war. So excuse me if I got out of the line. Okay, this is another photo capturing the regular daily basis of life in Lviv. Beautiful greenery you can see there. Streets are clean. City is green. And weather is beautiful. I wish I can be there another time in the summertime, because it was an amazing experience. I have been to many different cities during the summertime, and this was another level. This was a kind of different experience. The climate was very human and accepting, let's say. I loved it. Again, this is another photo. By the way, like last few photos, I captured them in the same day. I was just outside capturing some photos around the place that I was staying in. So it was just, those are just regular Lviv residential views, let's say. Again, another photo. I liked the aesthetics of this building, and you can see balconies with flowers. This photo was captured a little outside of the city. Yeah, there was a lake you can see. There's a lake you can see, and destroyed-ish vehicle. I mean, this visual reminds me the game Last of Us. It was like post-apocalyptic game based on a world where a virus just destroys the humanity, and nature grows again with all its beauty and greenery. And Ukraine was such a city that you could experience nature, greenery, with all its beauty and its wildness, I could say. Because this greenery is wild. It is not civilized, I mean, don't get me wrong. What I try to say by the word civil and being civilized is, the place that was shaped by human. Ukraine, Lviv, and this city and its nature was not fully shaped and organized by civilization, by people. It was naturally left on its own, and it was beautiful in this way. That is why I try to say I really like this view of wild nature, wild greenery. Yeah, this is exactly what I try to say, and I really love such type of nature. And you could find plenty of it in Lviv. You could also, when I remember my past experiences, I could also see it in the rural places of Amsterdam. That's another mention similar to this city. But again, Ukraine, Lviv was something else. I don't say Ukraine. I experienced Lviv, so I can talk about it. So that is the thing. Lviv has such a characteristic, wild greenery and nature, which is very likable. Let's continue with, again, the similar thing that I was talking about. Look at this wildness and beauty of the nature. Again. And in the beginning of the video, I mentioned those Soviet structures. So this is the part of the city that is a little far away from the city center, and you can see the Soviet communal structures. I personally really have sympathy for those structures because they have, they carry an ideology with them, the ideology of socialism. I'm not a socialist or something. I don't politically put myself into a point. But of course, every political ideology has its own beautiful sides. And socialism has that beautiful thing where it just offers every single people near to human life. Yeah, or human life, come on. Not near to human, but of course, human life. A human life to live. Even though it's not in a luxury. Even though it has its own hardships and problems and troubles. at least you have a place to put your, you have a place to live in, and it's a beautiful thing. And yeah, that's why I like just even to look at those buildings. I remember this beautiful ideology, this beautiful human goal, let's say. Of course, it has its own problems, corruption and inefficiencies in its system and economics. That's another topic. But yeah, this is another thing that I could say that I appreciate. So let's continue. Another photo that captures the beautiful harmony of the civilization with a wild nature, a wild greenery. Such a beautiful visual. And as far as I know, it is very common in post-Soviet countries, such wild greenery. It is not only because of aesthetics, of course. Their state is a kind of poor to take care of its greenery. That is another fact. I remember, one of my Ukrainian friends told me that, I saw a lot of dead pigeons on streets. And it was quite interesting to me in my hometown or any other place that I traveled to. I haven't seen something like this. Dead animals on the streets, on the city. So I asked to my friend what was going on there and stuff. So she told me that it was a normal thing in Ukraine. So that sentence was enough for me to understand that, they don't have sufficient amount of resource to take care of such things. Of course, that's not the only reason. There could be different reasons, like the city itself and the environment is very suitable for animals to live. That's another case. But Istanbul is also such a city. We have cats everywhere. But if a cat somehow dies at a spot, the garbage people, I'm correct myself, I use this stupid term mistake again and again. What I mean by garbage people is people who are responsible for garbage collection. Yeah, they collect it. So yeah, Ukraine, it has such a characteristic thing that you could see dead animals in the city very frequently. Let's continue. This photo was captured in front of the Central University of Lviv, and this guy was a kind of literature person, famous in Ukraine. And actually, I was quite impressed by the size of this statue. It was a very well-made statue. From its face to the height of the statue, that was a cool one. And of course, you can again see the beautiful nature of Lviv by looking at that beautiful greenery scene. Not only the trees are very wild and green, but also you can see the grass and its vivid color of green. Oh yeah, let's continue. This is an interesting object. My friend who hosted me in Lviv told me that. He was a Ukrainian guy, by the way. This is a traditional Slavic object that Slavic people put in their garden. It is very inexpensive, as you can easily see. It's a old car tire, and they craft it in a way that it looks like a bird. Like not a bird, but a beautiful type of bird that I don't remember and its name. I don't remember the bird's name, but it was a beautiful bird that you can easily guess its name. Okay, let's continue. This is again a communal and Soviet, post-Soviet-ish structure that you can see in front of a very old stylish minibus. As far as I remember, it was a dormitory for a nearby school. I remember getting inside of the building. People were not able to speak in English. Anyways, I was just looking around, but it was an interesting place. I remember. I remember this little building. It was for the security guy for the building, and he had a very comfy little room. Okay, let's continue. This photo was captured inside of a building located in the city center. I don't exactly remember what it was all about. It was an old state building, as far as I remember, under the reconstruction, I guess. It was something like this. And look at those lightings. Such a beautiful way of beautifying a structure. The windows. So cool. And this is another perspective from the same building. Nothing to say much. Let's continue. This was a top place in the city. I traveled to that place by walking, and you can see the greenery and Soviet type of, post-Soviet type of view of the city. It was also a quite flat city, and this type of views are quite classic. Similar in post-Soviet countries. Communal buildings, high density structures, and a lot of forests and greenery. I also mentioned this thing in the previous photos I went through, so it is just a nice view overall of the city from a high point. A friend of mine, by the way, I just remembered, a friend of mine took me here. We were traveling around. I met with many people there. When you travel solo travel, you just meet a lot of people. Both are very nice experiences, like traveling with friends and traveling solo. They both are quite nice. They both are quite nice in different ways, of course. Socially, if you are looking for social interactions, definitely solo travel is much more social. You will meet with many people. But traveling with friends, it's like comfortable, let's say. Yeah, definitely, it's comfortable. Safe. You can also claim this. Yep, let's continue. Another building, like Soviet type of communal building, it was really, impressive to me at that time. It's a huge building with a very brutalistic type of architecture. Beautiful, I think. Not aesthetically. I don't know. Maybe you can also say that it is aesthetically beautiful, but in a very different type of aesthetic, like brutalistic aesthetic. Yeah, it feels like it's a very strong building. It is. It holds an important place around the region. It is dedicated for important stuff, not like superficial beauty. It just reminds you state state, maybe. Those type of aesthetic. It just reminds you those type of things that you associate this type of buildings to. Okay, let's continue with this one. This photo, I mean, the thing with this photo is that it is aesthetic, like photogenically an interesting photo. I'm not gonna zoom in to the face of the guy. I don't know the guy. He was just smoking his cigarette in his balcony, and I loved the composition of the photo with all its subjects, including the man happily looking at me and smoking his stuff under a funny umbrella inside of a old but beautiful building. Let's continue. This one. Okay, I have to say that back in those times, like 4 years ago, it was the craziest times of my life. Yeah, I did pretty crazy stuff, and this was one of them. I saw a abandoned building. At least I thought it was abandoned. It seemed to be like a factory-ish something, and that was the building. And I saw its dirty stairs. You use it to get on top of the building. So it seemed to be a very old building, and I was just walking around the city, and I thought, why don't I climb to top of that building? I mean, imagine the level of stupidness of this thought. But when you're young, healthy, free to do anything, you do such stupid things. For sake of what? For sake of dopamine. That's the only reason. And I just climbed to this place. And it was so high and risky. By the way, it's not just high, but also risky. Because the building was a fucking shitty and old building. The stairs I used to climb was about to be destroyed by time and environment. That old, that shitty. And I climbed on top of this building, and the moment I reached to top, I was like, my heart was and I laid down on top of the building, my back, and wait for my heart to get into its normal rhythm. I was so stressed. I was so happy. That was another thing. It was amazingly enjoyable, but very risky too. I was like, imagine if something happened and I fell down. I could A, die, B, worst case scenario, I think, I would be, crippled, neck down, crippled. It was one of the possibilities. Stupidness, yeah. When I look back, what can I say? Youth is something like this. But I remember that time, yeah. It was full of dopamine. My body was crazy, like it was going crazy. My heart was about to explode out from excitement, because I was very close to very bad things happening. Luckily, nothing happened. I just waited for 5-ish minutes. My body got adjusted into the craziness of the situation, and I steadily went back to the ground. It was one of the most stupid things I did. One of the most, not the most. The most, I did even more stupid things in Amsterdam. But that was one of those stupid things. Yeah. I mean, it's not cool, by the way. I'm not proud of what I did during my travels, especially stupid things like this. I could end up like in a very shitty position. Imagine something happened to me here in a foreign country. My family is in my hometown. Imagine who would find me, who would tell my parents what happened to me. Imagine the process. Every one of those type of things could happen. And I lived like this for years, bro. I mean, I'm very lucky that I came back to my hometown in one piece. What can I say? But let me also clarify it. Am I proud of them? No. But do I regret it? No. I captured this photo in a mall in Lviv. And I went to this mall with a guy I met in a park. It was an interesting thing. The guy was from Paris, from France. And he was minding his own business in his computer, at the park. And, I was a solo traveler, so I was always open to talk to people. I saw him. I thought like he was a foreigner, so I said hi. And we talked. I learned that he was a digital nomad. His work based on Paris, and he was going around Eastern European countries, living in Airbnbs and working remotely. It was like 4 years ago, bro. It was like pre-COVID. Yeah, sure. Or even more. Yeah, of course. Pre-COVID. It was pre-COVID times. He was, as I said, digital nomad. And he told me that living in that way was even more economically beneficial. He could save money because rent is cheaper here, and when you rent a place on Airbnb, from water bills to internet bills, everything is paid, so it is very convenient for the guy. It was an interesting lifestyle. I was really interested into that type of lifestyle. And yeah, that's the place. We just had a walk to the mall, going around, talking about our lives and stuff. Such things are very interesting, like meeting with different type of people with different type of lifestyles. They all teach you some different stuff. Yeah, that's all about this photo. Let's continue. This photo was captured in the city center, I guess. Look, that's a very interesting photo. You see that blurry statue? This is a very huge statue. The big one, blurry one, like this and this, they are one piece at the behind, and they are very tall. And this one, the small one, it is like imitation, like small version of this huge statue, just next to the huge statue for people to see. So I captured this photo, getting to all of them in one frame, but you can see the huge one at the back blurry, and the small one like this, closer to the camera. Later on, I learned that this visualized the freedom of Ukrainian people or something like this. I don't know about the details, but it's an interesting statue. Yeah, let's continue. Okay, this photo shows three foreign people, I mean, as far as I can see, sitting on a bench talking to each other. I mean, it was a very sad photo. That's what I thought when I captured this. Because, you're in a foreign country and like male groups without a female in it is always, I don't know, it feels different, it feels interesting. In a bad way, I would say. So this was one of them. Those people, who knows why they are here. Maybe they are university students in nearby universities. I met with those type of people. But maybe they are kind of immigrants. Came here for a better life, maybe. But Ukraine is not, I mean, even at those times, was not known for its welcoming economy. So I'm not sure. But this visual, like three males sitting together, and like they seems to hopelessly think about their future. It was an interesting photo to think on. Let's continue with even more interesting one. Okay. Yeah. I mean, another thing with, unfortunately, Ukraine. As I said, it was a poor country, and I witnessed with a lot of bad alcoholism products as people. I mean, those type of people. I mean, this is even like a nice example. I saw worse. I saw many people drunk, laying on streets. They were locals, though. I mean, I saw even worse in Paris, like immigrants, hopeless immigrants who had nothing to do but drugging themselves. They were laying down next to garbage bins, I mean, Paris was amazingly disturbing. I mean, not only disturbing, but an interesting city that you can see both luxury and desperate people together in the same frame. I'm gonna talk about those type of things when Paris part comes to the series. But like in Ukraine, it was not like immigrants. They were local people, bro. Local men drink and lay down around the streets. It was sad. And when I asked about this to one of my local friends, she told that it was a normal thing in Ukraine. It was Ukraine, she told. As much as I don't want to talk bad things about Ukraine, what can I say? I try to be transparent about what I experienced. Sorry, people. I liked your country. If any Ukrainian people listen to it, I liked Ukraine in many ways, but those are the things that I need to talk about, at least. I believe I need to talk about, because they are a part of my experience in the end. Yeah. Okay, this is one of the photos that I like most. Again, you can see beautiful nature of the city with all the wild green trees, plants, everywhere around the city and buildings. And look at the architecture of this building. it is a university. Psychology, anatomy, and histology or history, I don't know. And it was a beautiful building with beautiful university students in it. I also saw a commissioner guy sitting next to a university. He was a kind of commissioner, bringing students from northern African countries to Ukraine to study medicine and those type of studies. And he seemed to be a very interesting guy. He was an Egyptian guy, I remember. He was very happy with his life. He had a community there. His business seems to be very well. And he was enjoying his life in a very beautiful and foreign country. That is Ukraine. Oh, yeah. Let's continue. And this is the final photo. The train that I took to leave Ukraine. And I went to Kiev after Ukraine.